Have you ever tried to lay down tatami mats in a room, only to be left with those incredibly frustrating, awkward gaps around the edges? You know the feeling. You end up trying to sort of push them together, maybe even hiding the uneven spaces with furniture. And eventually, you just kind of give up on that dream of a flawless, wall-to-wall Japanese aesthetic. Well, if that sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone. So many people want that authentic look, but they just hit a brick wall when it comes to standard sizing.
Welcome to today's Explainer, Perfect Fit, the ultimate guide to custom-sized tatami. We're going to dive right into how Tokyo Tatami Maker is delivering millimeter-perfect custom tatami all over the world. Okay, so to really understand why this is a total game changer, we have to look at the traditional ready-made approach. Typically, if you go shopping for tatami online or at a home center, you're stuck buying standard sizes. We're talking about your standard half mat, which is 82 centimeters by 82 centimeters, or a full mat at 82 by 164 centimeters. And on paper, you might think, oh great, I'll just buy 6 of these, toss them in my room, and I'm done. But here's the reality check. Rooms are basically never perfect squares. Buildings settle over time, walls have slight distortions, or maybe you have a pillar jutting out somewhere. So when you try to force rigid, ready-made mats into a slightly imperfect room, you get gaps, you get sliding. But with custom millimeter precision, the tatami is literally built to respect the actual real-world shape of your room.
When it's done right, the tatami in a truly custom space flows seamlessly right up to the baseboards. There are no awkward filler strips, no overlapping edges. It honestly looks like the room was built around the mats, rather than the mats being shoved into the room. And that is exactly the difference between simply placing some tatami down and truly creating an authentic Japanese space. It takes the whole aesthetic from a sort of DIY afterthought to a truly high-end architectural finish.
And the secret sauce here is precision down to a single millimeter, literally. Tokyo Tatami Maker doesn't just round to the nearest inch or centimeter. They adjust the length, the width, and even the thickness of every single tatami mat down to 1 millimeter. So if your room is, say, 12 millimeters out of square on one diagonal, the mats are precisely crafted to absorb that distortion invisibly. It's traditional craftsmanship meeting absolute modern precision.
Now, of course, there are some physical constraints to what can be manufactured and shipped, but honestly, they are incredibly generous. The maximum width you can order for a custom mat is 950 millimeters. The maximum length is 2,000 millimeters, and the maximum thickness tops out at 60 millimeters. To put that into perspective, this basically means that virtually any standard residential layout, no matter how sprawling it is, can easily be accommodated. By breaking your total room size down into mats that fit right within these parameters, the layout possibilities are endless.
And speaking of thickness, it's actually really cool how they achieve that custom height. We just mentioned a maximum thickness of 60 millimeters, right? But what if you only have a 15 millimeter clearance because a door needs to swing open over the mats? Or maybe you're trying to perfectly match the height of an existing hardwood floor. Well, by utilizing precision insulation boards and thickness adjustment layers underneath the high-quality surface fabric, whether you go for natural rush or modern materials like Sakisu Migasa or Daiken washi paper, they can dial in the exact height you need for a perfectly flush transition.
Now you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, but I don't live anywhere near Japan. Well, that is absolutely not an issue. Tokyo Tatami Maker ships these custom-crafted mats directly from their facilities in Japan to homes literally all around the globe. Whether you're building a tea room in Hawaii, adding a Zen space to a New York apartment, or bringing some Japanese elegance to a home in Singapore or Australia, this authentic, perfectly fitted tatami is totally accessible to you.
So how do you actually get this whole process started? Let's quickly run through the 4 simple steps for ordering.
I know the idea of measuring a room with millimeter precision sounds super intimidating, but trust me, you don't have to do any complex math here. Step 1, you just measure the overall dimensions of your room. Don't worry about figuring out how many mats you need. Just measure the walls from the quote form. Got a pillar? No problem at all. Honestly, even a rough hand-drawn sketch of the room's layout that you just snap a photo of with your smartphone is perfectly fine to send in. Step 2, Tokyo Tatami Maker takes over. They take your measurements and do all the allocation. They calculate exactly how many mats you need, the layout, and the specific custom sizes for that flawless fit, and they send you a quote. Step 3, you prep your space, which usually just means clearing it out. And step 4, your custom mats arrive and you simply drop them into place. Because they were cut for your specific space, they just fit right in.
But hey, it is totally natural to worry about your tape measure slipping or maybe accidentally writing down a 9 instead of a 6. To completely remove that anxiety, they offer an absolute game-changer of a risk reversal policy. Listen to this. Even if you make a mistake with your measurements and the mats arrive and don't quite fit, they will remake and fix up to 3 mats completely for free. You literally just cover the shipping. It takes all the stress out of ordering because they genuinely just want you to succeed in creating your perfect room.
So if you are ready to stop settling for off-the-shelf compromises and actually experience the beauty of custom tatami, your next steps are super easy. Since this explainer is going up on YouTube, we put everything you need right in the description below. Just open that up to find a direct link to the quote form where you can send over your room measurements, and again, a smartphone picture of a sketch works great. You'll also find links down there to a ton of really rich case studies showcasing how people all over the world have transformed some highly unique and frankly very tricky spaces using this exact custom-sized service.
It really all comes down to this. What space in your home is waiting for a transformation? Whether it's a dedicated meditation room, a cozy little reading corner, or a fully elevated bedroom floor, that millimeter-perfect tatami is no longer out of reach. Definitely check out those links in the description below, sketch out that room you've been dreaming about, and see for yourself just how easy it is to bring authentic, flawlessly fitted Japanese design right into your home. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy designing.